Academy join us tonight. And he actually tonight is speaking to something that I believe he speaks best at, and that's unlocking your child's greatness. Every time I hear him speak about it, I'm always inspired, and so I know that you'll leave here feeling the same way. So I'm going to pass this over to Jimmy and allow him to talk to us a little bit just about his background and about himself.
Yay. Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate it. And appreciate everybody being on. Thank you so much. I'm Jimmy Arispe, as Kayla said, and I love talking about a child's greatness. And unfortunately, it took me a while to be able to understand what exactly this is and how you come about it. So in order for us to understand how to get to a child's greatness, like Kayla said, I'd like to just talk about my my weaknesses and my failures, and how all of those led to my greatness. And please know too that greatness by no stretch of the imagination means like I'm rich or famous or anything like that. I just think I'm great at one, maybe two specific things, and I'll talk about that. So I grew up in a military family, and so we moved around everywhere 1, 2, 3 years until I got to high school. And through school, I struggled a lot and just could not retain what I read. I was an average reader, not anything great, not anything really bad either. My writing was okay. I had to read aloud to remember anything that I read. So not only had difficulty with just understanding what I read, but also just remembering what I read was also a challenge. So poems, poetry, the Bible, anything that wasn't very, let's just say, tangible, realistic, true to life to me, I just couldn't relate to it at all. So so that led into a whole bunch of nonsense that I was involved in as a kid, and getting in trouble, making a lot of noise. My favorite thing to do was probably to make people laugh. And so just because I think I brought laughter into a classroom, that I think that teachers were more accepting of my misbehavior. And so while I did get in trouble, it wasn't like, I was sent to the principal every day or anything like that. But I did get in trouble. And so I again just struggled throughout school, struggled through high school, and I infamously call myself, the best C student in the history of C students. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it's really, unfortunately, what probably a lot of our kids struggle with, and that's that schools prepare kids for school. And we being the Academy Way, the Academy Virtual, the Academy New Jersey, even the SAE school, which is the first school I started in Metro Atlanta, all of our schools prepare kids for life. And so our teachers use multisensory, interactive, real life application methods to teach. And in my opinion, that's the best thing, because I'm having to tell my 15-year-old, and actually just like within 24 hours, he and his math teacher and I said this exact same thing to him, apart from each other, and that's that you will never lose this, what you're studying, for the rest of your life. And to me, that's really disappointing and a bit unsettling. And we shouldn't be doing that to kids, but unfortunately we are. And so I discovered through my frustrations in as a student, and then all these frustrations and uh, obviously moved with me. All these behaviors grew with me as I went into adulthood, and I became a teacher. And my students and I had a really good time in class. It was organized chaos, and similar to me getting in trouble as a kid with teachers. When I became a teacher, I would get in trouble with other teachers in the administration because it was just my classroom, and again, organized chaos, and my kids were having fun because that's the way that I needed to learn, and it needed to be applicable to real life. So, we were always moving around, always having things in our hands, always talking. And the classroom was hardly ever quiet because I'm hardly ever quiet, because I always have to discuss and ask questions and move around. And so my classrooms are like that as well. And so this was in traditional public school, and I kept just as I did when I was a student, kept getting in trouble as a teacher. And then I was like, all right, what do I need to do now? Oh, let's become an administrator in public school. That'll fix it. And so I did that, and I did that for a while, and that was not good at all. Yeah, what did I teach? Great question. I was an elementary school teacher, so I taught everything, and I really enjoyed teaching math. Again, just made it applicable to real life. We used money a lot, and decimals, and just talked about fractions all the time and stuff like that. And then I learned how to teach kids to read too, later on in my teaching career, and so that was pretty rewarding. And I taught everywhere from sixth to fifth grade, and then became a middle school assistant principal, middle school principal, superintendent, and all that stuff. And again, as I kept going up in the ranks, if you will, I kept getting more and more frustrated with just the system of schools preparing kids for school. And it was very, very depressing to me just personally because of my personality and love of kids, and then also just for the kids themselves, and knowing that, like my son, they were just having to jump through hoops. And so hoop jumping, I absolutely 100% do not believe in. And so that was really really a lot of why I was unsuccessful, if you want to call it that, just in the public school setting. So then I decided to open my own school, which was the SAA school in 2013. Really, really challenging to open a school. Ann Gradman, I think, is on. Ann, where are you? Raise your hand. Say hi. Ann is opening her own school in New Jersey at Bellworks. So if you live in New Jersey, look her up at theacademynj.org. And it's a bunch of hard work. It is probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever gone through in my life. Aside from family and stuff like that, but it's an awesome experience, and you get to see your little successes run around the school all day long. And when one of my teachers said to me one time, I was in a conversation with two of them, and then one of them asked, how's it going? How are you enjoying school? And the other one preempted my response. She said, are you kidding? He gets to do what he wants now and not get in trouble. And that was exactly right. And so all this to say, it took me until my first school in 2013. So I'm 52 now. Somebody do the math real quick. So I was in my 40s and in starting the SAE school when I realized what my greatness was. And I was actually, it was evolving as I was understanding it. And my greatness is being able to find, identify a problem with kids, find a solution to it, and develop some meat behind it, a plan, and then get a bunch of other crazy people, people who are smarter than I am, better than I am, more skilled than I am at different things, and convincing them to buy into the crazy dream. And that is absolutely 100% what my greatness is. And when I look back on just my journey through school and the different jobs that I had before I started teaching, and even while I was teaching, it was all leading me to this. And unfortunately, my mom didn't graduate high school or got her GED, and my dad, he's a very analytical person. So and he was in the military, so they didn't care what he thought. I never had anybody talk to me about what I was great at, about my personal skills or abilities, or how I could enhance those, how I could make money off of them, how could I make a career off of them. And so I realized that I'm really good at identifying those things in kids and having those conversations with kids. And so dyslexic kids, kids who struggle, have severe reading challenges, kids who haven't been successful up to this point in traditional schools, ADHD, obviously all this I'm describing is just classic ADHD stuff. And that's my passion, and that's where my heart is in working with kids. And so I encourage you, all parents, and what we don't want to do is to have to work with people or in an industry or business that does not utilize our greatness. And that is really frustrating. And I think we've all been there. And we probably all have the same emotions that came from that, and whether it's sadness and frustration and just not feeling rewarded, but just all those things. I bet all of them match up with each other. And so I don't want that for anybody. Who the heck wants to work have a job or work in a career that we're with people that focus on their weaknesses? And most schools, that's what they do, right? They want you to get all A's, but you're not going to get all A's. You shouldn't get all A's, because none of our kids are excellent at everything. No human being is excellent at everything, but it's all these arbitrary, meaningless tests, in my opinion, that they're measuring your kid's success and their school success by them. And so I would like to challenge you to try and think differently about what your kid, how we're measuring your kid, how you're measuring your child, how the school is measuring your child. And I know, unfortunately, some of us just don't have the opportunities to have the kids go to a school that whether it's the academy or SAE school, like that can talk to your kid about their greatness every day. But you can talk to your kid about their greatness every day, and you can help them understand that, hey, this is just a hoop, and it will not last forever. And help them understand that they can take away different things from their public school experience or whatever the case may be, that they can use in real life. It might not be the academics, it might be the social part. And that's okay, as long as they're taking away something from every day, from someone every day, then they can use all of those experiences to help shape their greatness and understand their greatness. Was that a little long-winded, Kayla? I'm sorry.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. And I feel like I've heard you speak on this topic several times, but each time I hear you, I kind of take something new or something different from it. So no, the response was perfect. Something that you kind of touch base on with grades and assessments and things like that, often our kids are measured by those during their school day. And for kids who struggle academically, often those types of measurements can tell the student that they're not where they should be, or they're less than. And so kids internalize that, and in turn they think that their worth is less than. So
Yeah.
if you have if your child has been in the school system for a while and they have been going through this year after year, and you want to start engaging them in the conversation as to what is your greatness, and they can't label that, what suggestions do you have for parents to help? Because we all have it in us, we all know it, but sometimes it gets buried. Do you have any suggestions
Yeah.
to how to get it up?
I think it's just like adults. Think of yourself, and what would you do for free every single day, if money wasn't an object, right? And and yeah, kids are a little bit different, but it's just it's them getting older, and their activities getting a little bit older with them. But I think it's the same thing. If they're social right now, they're probably going to need to be in a career or something that embraces their ability to talk to people. We had a kid at the SAE school, and I swear to God that he could freaking sell ice cream to a daggone Eskimo in dead winter. It was the most amazing thing. So everything that we do focuses around entrepreneurship in all of our schools. And because it doesn't matter if the kid is going to be an entrepreneur. More likely, however, if they've got ADD, ADHD, one of the A's, or some type of dyslexia, becoming an entrepreneur is while it is very, very challenging, it's also so liberating, because they're able to shape their days and what they want to do with their career. But anyway, so Dylan, so we were doing these projects, come up with a business, and we made many businesses, many different projects. And so I can't even remember what we asked them. But anyways, it was something really simple. What could have the largest profit margin with the least amount of work, least amount of equity that you're going to put in it, financial equity you're going to put in it. And so dude came up with, he every time he would go to Chick-fil-A, he would get all the condiments, and he would bring them to school every day. And these condiments, he was selling them for $1 each that he was getting from Chick-fil-A. And okay, yeah, fine line. Is it stealing? I don't know. There's a lot of condiments there. Chick-fil-A would probably even go, yeah, go take them, go just for marketing purposes. But Dylan was making a killing every single day. And so when my son, he's in public school now. His after about a month in public school, we realized that he was taking candy to school to sell it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, dude. And his mom was like, no, you can't do that. I was like, why can't he do that? And so I'm looking at that as embracing the kid's brain and the creativity and the things that they had to go through to understand that, hey, I can make money off of this by doing this, by presenting it like this, by selling it like this. And not that he's breaking the rules or anything like that, but we've got to understand that people make policies. Policies don't make people. And unfortunately, many of our kids are in places where policies do make people. And so I urge you just to try and help them understand that the school, the grades don't define their greatness. They, unfortunately, everybody starts at a different point in public school. Everybody starts at a different point. I started here. Kayla probably was way up here. Janice probably way up there, at different points. And so and we're all gonna go to our own speed, at our own speed, but we're all given the same tag on test at the end of the year, end of the semester, whatever the case may be. And that's just not fair, right? We're trying to test everybody the same, teach everybody the same. It's just not fair, but it is what it is. And we just have to help our kids understand that it is what it is. Hey, guess what? They will probably have a job or a boss where it's just going to be, it is what it is. And they're going to have to learn to get along, go along to get along, learn that they have to do it the way that the boss expects. And so help them understand that, okay, that's school right now. You know, this is your job. Your boss, your teacher expects you to do it this way. And I think if we're just really honest with kids right now, that it will help them diagnose themselves and understand what their greatness can become. Please don't, we believe in progress, not perfection at the Academy. And again, all of us progress at different rates, different speeds, but I know certainly that we all have a greatness, including all of our kids. So I, again, just challenge all parents to have these conversations with your kids. And first, you know what you got to do? You've got to ask yourself, if you don't know yet, what's your greatness? And take your, and no offense, especially moms, no offense, take your kids out of it. Okay, take your families out of it. All right, because that's an easy one. Because mamas are so just, it's just innate with you. You're just awesome human beings, and you would give your life, over for your kids and family. Understand that. But take your kids out of it, because then that'll make you think more of yourself. And it might be related to relationships and something about that, and that's fine. But take your kids out of it so that you can understand what your greatness is. Maybe have somebody ask you questions about, what do I get really excited about? What do you see? When do you see my passion come out? And then in turn, have those same conversations with your kids.
Awesome. All amazing stuff, Jimmy. And so as a teacher of 14 years, I think about how many times I really had the opportunity to sit down and ask my students what their greatness is or was. And even though I was a special education teacher, so a lot of my students were in small groups, and I did get to have some of those conversations sometimes. I think just really for them to come in consistently every single day and for that to be a part of their day, I just can't imagine, right? It would be you finding your greatness instead of at 42, possibly 22. And so that's an extra 20 years that you could have been doing this and having a positive impact on our next generation of beings, right? So
I appreciate that, and not being frustrated, and not, I was going to say, and not having all the failures. I love failing. I do. I love failing. It gets me energized. It gets me pissed off. I want to prove to myself, not so much everybody, I really don't care what anybody thinks, to myself that I can do it, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to do it. And so I failures are just a part of your greatness and in what you'll eventually succeed at. And one thing too, I don't know if it came out in my story, but also I want to hone in on it a little bit more, Kayla, is your kids have different behaviors that might not be good for the school environment that they're in. It does not mean that they're not good for them. And please, and mine was moving around. If my desk, which it always did, had 4 legs on it, 2 of them were off the ground, and if it was a really good day, all 4 got off the ground. Had to be moving around, had to be talking, had to make people laugh. I've got to tap all the time. I've got my legs got to be moving. If my chair swivels, oh my God, that's just heaven to me. And so I have to be doing at least 2 things at a time. And it might be working and watching TV. It might be talking to somebody and listening to the radio. at least 2 I've got to have. Hey, and you know what? It probably takes me 2, 3, 4 times longer to get something done than somebody who doesn't have ADD. But that's also that is food to my soul and food to my brain, and it's happiness. It is happiness. I die in quiet. I absolutely hate quiet. And so please know that some of your kids might have that or other things, and it's just them. I just challenge parents to push back a little bit on prescriptions for medicine that takes away that life from their kids because they've got to fit in this box. And find them another daggone box, or just have them tear the crap out of the box and don't even have a box, rather than get them on some medicine that's just gonna kill their spirit. And thank God my parents didn't know anything about any medicine, and I was just a BAD kid, and so I don't want that for your kid. I've seen too many kids get labeled ADHD, and then they go to the doctor to get some medicine so they can focus. My brain is all over the place, not my body so much. My brain is all over the place, and I kind of enjoy it. Like I said, it's food to my soul and food to my head. So sorry, Kayla, I don't even know if I answered your question, did I?
Yeah, you did. You did. So that kind of leads us into the Academy virtual, just because you were just speaking right now that we all know we're all unique, right? We all have our own thumbprint. We're all unique beings, but then we get to school and we want to fit everyone into that box. And so because of you seeing that and not wanting that for children, you began SEA school, and then that turned into the Academy virtual. So can you speak a little bit to what makes the Academy virtual unique as opposed to maybe other virtual schools or just other schools in general?
Yeah. So now that we all know virtual schools, right? And so you've got virtual schools, and then you have public virtual schools, and then you've got the Academy virtual. We're nothing like any of those other virtual schools, and everything we do again relates to real life, multisensory, interactive, getting the kids moving around, getting them excited. And when I first so the Academy virtual happened as a failure of the brick and mortar that was supposed to open in Metro Atlanta. And God, thank you that it happened, because oh my gosh, as soon as we weren't able to open the brick and mortar, the skies parted, and the heavens and angels started to sing, and all these freaking amazing teachers dropped out of the sky. That became part of the Academy virtual, and then that led into the Academy way, and now we've got daggone amazing teachers like Kayla and like Ann opening schools themselves in New Jersey and Arizona, and in schools that of what I just described, and with people that believe all the craziness that I believe in, and how schools should be awesome, amazing, fun places for kids to learn, and that all of it should be related to real life. And so the Academy Virtual serves kids in grades 3 through 8. We have 4 classes that we call them huddles that the kids go through, and that's structured literacy, Wilson, Take Flight, or OG, and then writing, reading comp, and math. And again, just back to our teachers make it absolutely just an unbelievable experience for kids. And if unfortunately our kids have to be in virtual school right now, many of them, and so this has really just been an awesome opportunity to bring an amazing school environment to kids via the virtual world.
And it's an awesome place to be. and my son actually has had an opportunity to attend one of the training camps. And I was a little worried at first because it was something that was in addition to his traditional school day. But after the first day, the next day, he was the one that was initiating the login. He wanted to know what time things were starting. So just instantly made a connection to the coaches, and I think kind of forgot that he was learning. So
Yeah.
I know that we have another training camp coming up next week, right? Or 2 weeks? 25th, January
Yeah.
25th, next week. Yeah. Yeah. And Jimmy, do you just want to just quickly touch base on what the training camps,
Yep. So
why
the
they
training
were
camp
created?
is a sampling of our real school. So 3 days of what a child would experience in our normal day. And they would get the exact same teachers, exact same instruction, type of instruction, and get to interact with other kids. So it's a really good opportunity for kids, just to kids and parents to get a to dive real quick into our school. And there's $100 totally refundable tuition deposit. So so once the child completes the camp, we return that $100, and it's just so we won't have teachers preparing for kids in the week or the 3 days, and then they don't show up for whatever reason. So also in all of our classes, our non-structured literacy classes, so that's math, writing, and reading comp, there's no more than 4 kids in a class. And then our structured literacy classes, those are leveled, and there's no more than 2 kids in a class. So our kids get some amazing attention, and just it seriously is an awesome environment, virtual environment or other for kids.
And you keep bringing up structured literacy, which we know that is a great way to learn to read for all students, but is 100% essential for and vital for children with dyslexia or individuals with dyslexia. So you want to touch base a little bit about what is dyslexia, since structured literacy is such a huge part of the academy.
Yeah, so structured literacy, like Kayla said, the suggested, preferred, researched way to teach kids with dyslexia how to read. Also, just all kids should be taught how to read using a structured literacy program, and we use Wilson, Take Flight, and OG. There might be some others out there that you've heard of. But whenever you're looking for your child for something who does struggle with dyslexia, then you definitely want to go the structured literacy route. The IDA, International Dyslexia Association, recommends that you do find a structured literacy program. So we want to make sure that everything our kids do makes sense to their brains. And there's obviously been a ton of research into structured literacy programs and what works with the dyslexic brain, what's effective with the dyslexic brain. And so IDA, through all of their research, recommends structured literacy programs. So I definitely strongly urge parents to look for that. Chances are, I can count them on one hand across the country how many public school districts I know that use a structured literacy program. And then if they do, you've got to make sure your kid's getting it at least twice a week. I mean, that's like bare minimum, but definitely 3 times a week is even that is definitely more beneficial as far as the frequency, and then too, it needs to be all the time. It's probably going to take them 3 to 4 years to get on reading level, get on grade level with their reading, and get back where they should be. And so don't take off for the summer. Just have them keep going. And I encourage parents to find a program. If it's not us, somewhere else, but definitely some structured literacy program that can help the kids. You know, all dyslexic kids struggle with spelling and forming words and writing, and so these are just things that a structured literacy program will help them do, and reading, obviously. Structured literacy program will help them do better.
Yes, and on our Facebook page, we are covering the 6 elements of structured literacy. So if you're
Yes.
interested in what those look like, you can always refer back to our Facebook page, because we're in the process of covering those, just because we want to make sure to educate everyone what a structured literacy program should entail and how that's different from just a phonics program or a guided reading program, which these kiddos absolutely need to learn to read.
Yeah. And again, Kayla, anybody can go to IDA to get the not characteristics, the criteria for a structured literacy program. And if you go, parents, if you go to your district or your teacher or your principal and ask them, is what you're doing with my child a structured literacy program? And if any like slight hem and hawing, if they aren't able to specifically say yes and why it is, then assume it's not, because it probably isn't.
Yeah, and I think, Jimmy, that we talk about, our students often, in traditional classrooms are not necessarily set up to succeed sometimes. And as a teacher, I felt that way. And Anne and I have spoke to that, that you go to college to educate children, but the amount of time spent on teaching future educators how to teach children to read is very, very minimal. So the science of reading is barely touched upon. And I know that, Anne and I are structured literacy coaches, and all the training that we got was outside of college. So unfortunately, the way things are set up right now, it takes additional training for educators as of right now to be trained in structured literacy. So it's definitely something that you may need to seek out or ask about, because it's not something that a lot of colleges, few do, but not a lot offer when you're getting your teaching
Yeah,
degree.
and that's really unfortunate. Good point though. And colleges need to do better at that.
I agree. So this is probably, as we are wrapping things up within the next couple of minutes, this is my favorite. Jimmy, talk to us about the Academy Way. So what our school is all about.
Yeah, so obviously everything I just talked about, but specifically these 10 things. We have the kids, they say the pledge and moment of silence, but they also recite these 10 beliefs that we believe are really, really important to not only all kids, but specifically to our kids, because more than likely they've been beat the heck up and spit out a couple times and feel bad about themselves and just low self-esteem and know that they're different. But I think any of us will be happy with ourselves if we as adults use these to help center us every day, right? So I just think again, failures are part of growing and getting to know ourselves and believing that each of us have a greatness in being on time. And if you are on time, you're late, so you need to be early. And just being honest, and then also never dousing a dream of a kid or anybody. And so that's why I always say dream big. And and this is nothing against her, but it might come out this way. So just I'm caveating it with that. But my wife always says, why don't you just start with one school? Why not just open one school? And I'm like, who the heck buys into small dreams? Nobody wants to hear about a small dream. And she said, yeah, but maybe you need to do this and da, da, da. so yes, honey, I appreciate that. No, that doesn't get me excited. 80 to 90% of my brain, and two, you might want to talk about this to your kids. And again, just the last 12 years started figuring this out about myself. 80 to 90% of my brain is 3, 5, 10, 20 years down the road. 10 to 20% of my brain is today. And so that's why it takes me a little bit longer to get like very specific tasks completed. But also that's why I surround myself with people who make me feel better about myself and who are better than I am at things that I am really bad at. So I believe that wholeheartedly, and again, encourage parents to talk to their kids about this.
I love it. There's so much research that backs up daily affirmations or daily goals and how they can benefit everyone, adults and children included. So again, referring back to my classroom, and I loved my students, but a lot of the things that we covered each day were procedures or rules and routines, right? Making sure that
Yeah.
it was structured in that manner, and not a lot of emphasis was on these things that are so important and empower you so much that I mean, if we teach this from such a young age, we are going to have just empowered adults that know exactly what they want to do with the world, and there won't be any stopping them. So,
Amen, sister. Look at you.
love it. I
Bringing it
love
all
it.
together. Thank you. Hey, you know what, too? That last one too about reading, and obviously a lot of this is about reading, and I believe that reading is a necessary life skill that we will be probably unsuccessful if we do not have at least that, or maybe not unsuccessful, but our life will definitely be more difficult. And so I hated reading. To this day, I have to read to learn, meaning that I have to learn something while I'm reading. Otherwise, I see no point in it. I usually don't read for pleasure unless it's something sports related. I do like political biographies and stuff like that. But even then, it just has to be really interesting to me. And so I say that to say, please let your kids read what the heck they want. If it's a magazine, if it's, I mean, my son and I probably read it's comic Bible. That's not what it's called. Anyway, the Bible, and it's made like a action Bible, the action Bible, 7 times. And it's because it's made in the form of, created in the form of comics. And so it has really colorful pictures and little captions and bubbles and stuff like that. And but it's still this thick. And we read it 7 times by the time, he was probably, I don't know, 10. We probably stopped when he was 10. And so we enjoyed reading that. And just find something your kid enjoys and let him read the heck out of it. Who cares if he reads it 20 times? Let him read it 20 times.
Totally agree. 100%. All right, Jimmy. So multisensory education, we kind of touched base on this already. Is there anything that you want to add as far as what we do at the Academy?
Yeah, obviously, just embracing how your kid's brain needs to be engaged, and whether it's music or movement, singing, clapping, tapping, let them freaking tap. Give them a pen that they can click all the time. Put stuff in their hands that they can mold and mess with. Let them chew gum. I chew ice all the daggone time. Try and understand how their body has to move, how in order to get energy, and that energy is probably feeding their brain. And I don't know the research behind that. I don't really care, to tell you the truth. I just know what feeds my brain, and it's jacked up. So just let them be who they are. And if they need to move around, if they need to stand up, if they need to lay down to read or to learn or to do their homework, let them do it. Holy moly, not everybody can sit at a freaking desk in a chair that doesn't move. And oh my goodness, just please let them be who they need to be.
Agree. And as we wrap up here, Jimmy, we've had quite a few success stories come through the Academy Virtual. You want to talk to any of those, and I'll page through the slide in the next.
Yeah, I just yeah, that guy just warms my heart, and just everything we described about school. He just disliked it, and then he just lit up. And actually, I think that was the first day he was with us. And so, yeah, I just love seeing kids' faces like that, and just how what our teachers do with them just makes them light up. And again, so that's part of that's where I get my happiness is finding awesome teachers and knowing that they can make kids light up like that. And because it's not me, I'm not doing all this work. I'm the one coming up with all these crazy dreams and ideas, and then just try and find awesome people to help move the dream along. So I just appreciate everybody who has helped kids along the way, and because without them, without you all, none of these kids would be impacted or affected or begin liking school. So I can't say enough.
It is. It's been an amazing opportunity, and I'm grateful for it because kids are finding their greatness, right?
They are finding their greatness.
They are. So again, the Academy is having a training camp next week. So there are a limited amount of seats available, but it's a great time to check out what we are all about and experience our amazing virtual school. We also, Jimmy, you want to speak to some of the tutoring services that we have available?
Yeah, anything in our full school, we can do a la carte tutoring / coaching. So a class of structured literacy, a class of math, whatever the case may be, and that can be 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever the case may be. So also, excuse me. So also, please go to theacademyway.org. We are bringing everything under the academyway.org, the Academy Virtual, all of our different state campuses, New Jersey, Arizona, soon to be Chicago and Texas. And so you'll be able to find all of this information under the academyway.org as well.
Awesome. I will leave the platform open to anyone that have any questions or comments that they would like to ask Jimmy. I will have to run in a few minutes because we have our book study through the Academy that we're doing at 9 o'clock. So, but I'll leave it open for, yay, Anne has her book. Anyone that has any questions.
And